Is it Tuesday already? Oh, well. Oh, man, what a day. I know, waking up is the. I don't know why the song is breaking up is hard to do. Waking up is even harder. Especially when you got to wake up in the morning, go give away how many hours of your life and then come home and collapse. But that's life. Oh, well. I wasn't sure what to talk about today. Season two is now upon us. Um, I see Last of Us is airing now, season two finally. Um, and like I said, I just came home yesterday, and next thing I know, I was out cold, then I was up, then I was out cold again, and it was like, oh boy. Well, like I said, I have a strong belief. Sorry, I've been getting phlegmy in the morning, which is weird because it's not an unpleasant coffee choky phlegm. It's just there. It's might be because our weather's jumping up and down like a jackrabbit on crack, and it's like, 1 minute it's warm, then it's cold again, then it's warm, then it's cold again. It's like, and like today, it's not going to get much warmer than it is now, and it's that time of year when the weather can't make up its mind what the hell it's doing. Oh no, here we go. Someone's about to go by showing how small their wiener is just because they have to have a super bass death stereo in their car. I always had this beautiful image of somebody, driving around in one of them things with the bass thumping so loud they can't hear himself think, that they're going to get to their parking space, stop the car, and it's going to fall apart like the Bluesmobile did at the end of the Blues Brothers. Because they've shaken all the screws, bolts, and everything else loose. I still don't get what the point of that is. Is that supposed to be like a status symbol? I've got more bass in my car than you do. Oh, well. But it's a windy morning. It's a chilly morning. I got to get a hold of everybody and settle on if we're going to do the Omega Files, which we are, but I just got to figure out when. Because I'm tempted to do it this Friday and get it over with, but. So that's the only good thing. Is the fact we got a 4-day weekend coming up. So at least we got that, for Easter. I'm not sure, we do believe the moon is hollow, but I'm not sure if it's a hollow base for aliens. It could just be that's how it developed wherever the heck it came from. Because there's still people walking around going, well, the moon's always been here. And then there's the people going, well, the moon came along later. I remember when I was a kid, the big theory was when the solar system was forming, bits spewed off made the moon. But after the moon missions and analyzing the lunar rock, we figured, okay, that theory's gone to shit. But at the same time, the capture theory kind of don't make sense. Otherwise, our moon's orbit would be more elliptical. I do believe there's. All right, so do I believe in Bigfoot? I do believe there are things out there we've not discovered yet. About 25% of the country I'm living in now has never been foot surveyed or hasn't been seen since there's a lot of property out there ain't been seen since the foot surveyed since the Civil War. And there's a great chunk of it that hasn't been foot surveyed ever because we can't get to it. So, but you've got tens of thousands of footprints and casts that have been made of those footprints over the years. Yet one old man in Tumbuka, whatever. Well, I was faking prints for a long time, and it's like, yeah, across how many states of the union? Some of them have dermal ridges. Some of them have. There was one really famous one for a while that had a broken toe joint. It's like, do you know how long it would take you to make a passable fake foot that has dermal ridges like we have on our fingers and toe and our toes? It would require laser etching to get to that proper detail. So something's going on there. Plus, it's easy to tell a fake foot from a real one because when we walk, we leave compression lines in the material, in whatever mud, whatever we walk through, because that's the result from the heel to toe or whatever, and your muscles acting in that inside that surface, and you can't fake that with a fake foot. So I think there is something going on out there, but we'll never know what it is. I love all the things. Yeah, um, we never found a skeleton. Yeah, well, I've been in and out of my own woods when I was a kid. I don't know how many times I never once found the skull, the skull or the body of a dead deer. So, and as Lady G brought up, look at how long the panda bear was around, and when people were telling people about it, they thought they were nuts. And it took them decades to go get one. And it's like, okay, the panda, as someone once described, what's the panda doing that made it so, uncapturable? Let me see. They're black and white in their green environment. They're dumber than a bag of hammers, and they only eat bamboo. And they move at the speed of snails. Now, take that and apply that to a creature that might have near human intellect, only comes out at night, wants nothing to do with us, and only comes down from certain areas when depending on the weather or whatever. And the only time we encounter them is by accident. And I'll tell you why. Because they don't want nothing to do with us. Can you blame them? I have no idea what's going on with that Ruby story. Like I said, well, they live in the lower montane to upper montane areas, which means they live in lower mountain ranges or in, or upper mountain areas where we can't get to and out easily. And they just don't want nothing to do with us, and I don't blame them. Not one bit. Because look at what always happens when we come across something. The only way you'll ever prove one way or the other is when somebody brings back a body, which means somebody's had to have killed one. I love how everybody's still touting around about the Patterson-Gimlin film is fake, and even Cracked put up this thing that was a fact that some guy who's been claiming he was in that movie, in that Patterson-Gimlin film for decades, yet he was never able to prove it. Then he tries doing the walk. He can't even do the walk right because the creature in the Patterson-Gimlin film is not walking with a standard human gait. It's walking with what's called a compliant gait. And I believe that's the right name. But plus, you can see muscle. When the National Geographic guys took that film and they scanned it digitally, frame by frame, and they moved it up to high res and scanned in, you can see muscles moving under the skin. The creature has breasts. It's like, if you're going to fake a Bigfoot, why would you give it big, enormous gazongas? So, plus, these guys actually, marked the area where it took place. Whereas if you were doing a hoax, would you actually take people out there to see, well, you can tell by the area this was set and blah, blah, blah. No, they took everybody out there and said, look, this is where it happened. Showed them the footprints where this thing walked. And the footprints actually sank in quite a bit. And they estimated just from the depth of these footprints, whatever made those prints had to be in the neighborhood of 700 pounds. So it must have been a lead-lined suit with boobies that this guy was wearing. Yet Cracked reported it as a fact that it was faked. And I'm like, I unfollowed Crack that day. Because that's a lie. Even National Geographic's team said, whatever that is, it's living. It's a biological organism. It's not somebody in a suit. Not to mention when you look at where the knee and elbow bends were, completely different to a human. I mean, well, if you put somebody in a suit that tall, they wouldn't be bending their knees in the same place. They wouldn't be, moving their arms in the same places, or their elbows were different. It's just, no, it doesn't work. But, like I said, there's a lot of strange things. Like, look at this. We got the government finally admitting, there are UFOs, but we call them UAPs. Really? Now let's admit to the rest of the shit. Well, Roswell, nothing happened at Roswell. Yeah, it was just a couple months later we passed the National Security Act. And now they can classify shit under the guise of national security, whereas they couldn't before. Well, here's the thing. We're assuming that these are just like any other animal. It could be they can completely avoid our camera traps as easily as we avoid a trap. And like I said, they live in areas that are not easy to get to. And I'm not kidding. Wouldn't it be funny if they imagine you're Bigfoot and the family going one day and, crap, what? They're putting up them stupid crap cameras again. If it weren't for the fact I'd have some idiot scientist out here bugging us, I'd shoot him the moon. But, see, nobody takes that into account, that we could be dealing with a creature with reasonable intelligence. Hell, look at how long it took them to infiltrate one family in Chimp Empire. It was like they had to stay out there for years. Well, I'll be going shortly myself, so take care. But like I said, Doctor Who, like I said, my theories, we're going on hiatus. The RTD just kept mentioning that word over and over and over again, and it's like, but then he comes back and goes, I'm already planning series 4 and 5. Ha 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 ha. Don't remember any of that shit I said 5 minutes ago. But like I said, everybody's assuming, well, this is extinct, that's extinct, and all that. I go, well, yeah, we thought the coelacanth was extinct, and now turns out they're a thriving species. They were believed to have been extinct for over 60 million years. Species of fish. Look at the horseshoe crab. It's been around pretty much unchanged for God knows how many millions of years. The crocodile, the shark. And we just assume that, matter of fact, they've discovered a shark out there that's like 400 years old. Swimming still around, I think, around Newfoundland or something like that, or Greenland's one of them areas. It's like, folks, we've been on the planet a long time. Doesn't mean we know everything that's going on it. Oh, well. Take care, everyone. I got to run inside. Be kind, be calm, be safe. Enjoy the rest of your day. We'll hopefully see you all tomorrow morning. A reminder, we will not be here Friday. We will not be here Saturday. We will not be here on Monday either. It's Easter weekend, which means we're off Friday through Monday. So keep that in mind. Take care, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday.